Good evening. Welcome to the news rounds on Atlantic TV. I am Nkechi Tejere. First, the headlines. Nigeria marks Children's Day 2025 with series of bold declarations and deep reflections. National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, urges stakeholders to double efforts on the elimination of HIV. Marginal community raises alarm over continued attacks by Ijaw armed groups. Ruth Gender Foundation holds one-day capacity building program for female students in Warri, Delta State. Aliko Dangote announces plans to begin coal exports from fertilizer sales in the near future. And on sports news, Cristiano Ronaldo shares cryptic post about his next career move. Now to the news in full. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to protecting children across Nigeria from all forms of bullying and violence. In a statement to commemorate this year's Children's Day celebrations, the president announced that the National Plan of Action on Ending Violence Against Children 2024 to 2030 is already in motion. He emphasized the government's focus on building a safe and respectful environment where every child is heard and no child goes hungry. Meanwhile, the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, has urged all stakeholders to double down on efforts to eliminate mother-to-child transmission of HIV. NACA's Director General, Dr. Temitope Ilori, noted that despite progress, thousands of preventable cases are recorded annually. She emphasized that prevention of mother-to-child transmission services remain key to eradicating pediatric HIV in Nigeria. The people of a marginal community in Warri South local government area of Delta State have raised alarm over continued attacks and incursions into their territory by Ijaw armed groups from Baramatu, with the most recent incident occurring on Saturday, May 24th at Ajajelebe Akpata, Ogeye. According to community reports, several houses and properties were destroyed during the attack, while food supplies and other valuables were looted. The residents allege that operatives of Tantita Security Services, a pipeline surveillance firm owned by High Chief Government Ekpemukpolo, aka Tompolo, an indigene of Baramatu, are being used to facilitate this assault. Speaking to newsmen on Sunday, Roland Yomere, the chief priest of the marginal community, lamented the repeated violence and recalled how indigenes were forced to flee their ancestral homes during the peak of the Warri crisis over 24 years ago. He expressed concern that renewed efforts by the community to rebuild their homes are being thwarted by armed militants allegedly backed by Baramatu interests.
Tantita, they came to our community, invaded the place, scattered everywhere, destroyed everything. At the end of the day, they pursued people out of that place. But we still insisted. We went back, start building. They came again, led by the St. James, Census Luba. They destroyed everything, cut away farms, food property, everything they cut away. They even held hostage. The third time they held hostage our people for about 5 hours. We have to reach out to their leader, Tompolo, who promised the release of our people. However, they released our people. And they promised that our people should not come to that place again. But we insist that we are the owner of this land. This theory of land grabbing will not work for marginal. So we decided to go back in a small scale, to build and go back to our land. Recently, they went there 48 hours ago. They burnt everything down.
Back in Warri, a different kind of resistance is taking root, one led by young girls. In a bold call to action, Ruth Gender Foundation has rallied female students in Warri, Delta State to rise above societal limitations and assert their rights through confidence, knowledge, and self-defense. At a one-day capacity building program themed She Can, speakers challenged the girl child to embrace her potential while protecting herself physically and emotionally from abuse. The event gathered female students from various schools in Warri and its environs with sessions ranging from motivational talks to self-defense demonstrations. The girls were also given learning materials and participated in interactive games where prizes were won. Founder of the foundation, Mrs. Ruth Edema, used the platform to advocate for karate training in secondary schools across Delta State, stressing the need to build both physical and verbal resilience in young girls. Chief Superintendent of Police Agbede Zwokumo, Divisional Police Officer of Borikoko Division, reminded the girls that the fight against abuse begins with their own voices. Pastor Edewo Egedegbe encouraged the students to draw inspiration from leading women like Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the Director General of the World Trade Organization.
It was a day of empowerment, learning, and inspiration as the Ruth Gender Foundation hosted its highly anticipated Shikan event dedicated to equipping young girls with knowledge, confidence, and the tools to thrive in today's world. The event, held on Friday, May 23rd, drew dozens of students for an experience that blended education, personal development, and real-world skills. In a welcome address, Mrs. Koka Toyo, who introduced the Shikan initiative, outlined its mission to inspire girls to recognize their rights, speak up against injustice, and realize their potentials. The first keynote speaker, Mr. Emmanuel Ekpoto, educated the girls on their legal rights and personal responsibilities, emphasizing the importance of self-awareness and community engagement.
Raising confident girls, raising informed girls, mentorship play a very vital role in it, because by the time you catch these girls young and mentor them appropriately, as they grow up with confidence, they grow up with this self-knowing, and they grow up with a self-worth that this is who they are. And of course, the sky is not even going to be the limit, because they are going to be growing up with this confidence of what they can become in future.
On her part, CSP Temi Agbede Zwokumo, DPO of the Nigerian Police Force, Uborikoko Divisional Headquarters, Eforo, encouraged the girls to speak out when faced with difficult situations. She also urged them to dream big, affirming that there are no limits to what you can become, while stressing the value of courage and integrity.
We can't do everything on our own. Information is key. We need to teach them at a tender age to give information, useful one like developed world, to the relevant authorities so that we can nip crime in the bud. And for this girl child to know too that yes, I can, because I'm a female, I've got potentials in me, be bold to speak out, say no when there is need to say no, and reduce the trend of sexual offenses and sexual abuse among our young ones, our teenagers, our children in the society.
Building on this, Pastor Edewo Egedegbe, the Executive Director of Value Rebirth and Empowerment Initiative, spoke about the spiritual and moral dimensions of empowerment, reinforcing the responsibilities of the girl child in the society. The highlight of the event came with a heartfelt and powerful speech from Mrs. Ruth Collins Edema, founder of the Ruth Gender Foundation. In her address titled She Can, she unpacked the subtle ways abuse often begins and provided practical tools to identify and prevent sexual harassment. The earlier we teach our girls to recognize abuse, the better we protect their futures, Mrs. Edema stated. A Wing Chun self-defense session brought the empowerment theme to life, giving the girls hands-on techniques to boost their confidence and personal safety. In an interview with the press, Mrs. Edema expressed gratitude for the overwhelming response and announced that She Can will now be held quarterly, with the next edition dedicated to boys.
This is intended to be a quarterly thing, yes. So hopefully we will do this again in 4 months' time, and this time it will be boys, because we cannot be able to exactly guarantee the safety of the girl child if we do not bring the boys along. We need to also create an awareness for the boys. So the next one might not be girls, it may be boys.
CSP Zwokumo praised the initiative as timely and essential, while Mr. Ekpoto emphasized the role of mentorship in shaping future leaders. Pastor Egedegbe lauded the program's lasting impact.
With all of the knowledge that has been shared today, a number of these girl child, if they are able to internalize the knowledge, I'm sure they will be able to stand out among their peers. So it's such a great time.
Students and teachers were visibly moved, with many pledging to carry the message forward into their schools and communities.
Even if you have a girl child that is probably properly raised, there are still some that are not properly raised that are being mixed up. But now with this, they can share the information they've gotten to their friends, and before you know it, it keeps going.
I just pray that these ones that we brought, they will be able to be good ambassadors in our school, mostly in their dressing. You see them, they loiter around with boys. Sometimes I call them to say, what's all this? Wear short skirts, sit and open their lap. I just pray that this, with this we have, and I did some snaps. We're able to show to them to say, look at how it goes. This is not all life it is, mostly in that our area, in quote, Iara, that they can do better with their life and they can go further and make good use of their lives. Thank you very much for the experience. Thank you, Root Foundation. Thank you for inviting our school. Thank you for the exposure. Thank you for the insightful and educative time we've had. We enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I learned to be confident of myself. I learned that a girl child is also as special as a boy child. And I learned how to police my body.
Today reminded us that girls are not just the future, they are the now. One student remarked, empowered, informed, and inspired, the girls left with a new mantra echoing in their hearts. She can, she will. Mercy Erabo, reporting for Atlantic TV.
And still in Delta State, authorities have cleared roadside traders at the busy PTI Osubi Junction to pave way for the installation of a high-voltage 330 kVA power line. The state task force says the operation, supervised by Chief Godspower Asiuwu, was peaceful and necessary to prevent electrical hazards. The upgrade promises to transform electricity across the region. And in legal news, more drama in the trial of former Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele. A witness, John Adetola, admitted in court that there was no documentation for $400,000 allegedly given to Emefiele. The case, involving multiple charges of corruption and gratification, continues to unfold. And in business, billionaire Aliko Dangote has announced plans to begin coal exports and aims to rake in $7 million daily from fertilizer sales in the near future. Dangote Industries is expanding its export footprint, targeting over 16,000 tons of fertilizer exports in the next 2 years. Now to politics. The People's Democratic Party is still in search of internal cohesion. A key caucus meeting on Monday ended without resolution. Top leaders, including Atiku Abubakar and Namadi Sambo, were absent. The Saraki-led Peace Committee is expected to meet again today to salvage the troubled 99th NEC meeting. And now to sports. Moments after his final match of the season, Cristiano Ronaldo posted a cryptic message hinting at an exit. With 99 goals in 111 appearances, his journey with Al Nassr may be nearing its end. And our sports news wraps up our broadcast for tonight. For more stories and updates, please visit our website or follow us on all social media platforms. Thank you for watching. I am Nkechi Tejere.